Well, hello again. You didn't want to start the show, did you? I said, do you want to start this show? She says, no.
But you do so well.
Oh, yeah, that's a,
You do. You have such a
that's,
great voice and a great
that's
demeanor.
a flimsy excuse.
No, it's
It's,
not.
but it's our show. So, we could take turns opening
Well,
up
do
the
you want to
show.
start over?
Well, yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Hi. Guess what time it is? It's Thursday, 1 o'clock. Opposite Saxes.
See, all right. Now I want everybody that's watching the show and everything. I want you to send an email to us and say, do you want me to open the show or do you like the way she opens the show? Okay. Uh,
All right, let's
well,
move forward here.
yeah. Well, both of us had doctor's appointments this past week, and I'm not a real big fan of doctors. You go to quite a few because you not that you have issues, but you're on a this long-term maintenance program.
Well, I
It
think women are generally more proactive when it comes to going to the doctor, and women as they age, I think, have few more problems
more
than men.
issue,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, you are proactive and all. I am probably more reactive. That when something really starts to hurt, then I call the doctor.
Maybe. Maybe.
Well, after you kick me in the butt,
Yeah.
tell me to go, call the orthopedist and I'll go find out why your
Right.
back or your leg is hurting.
Right.
And all. But have you noticed, and maybe it's me, but it takes so damn long to see the doctor when you go into an office because first you get to the nurse, and even though sometimes they send you a form to fill out online to pre-check in, then you get there and they hand you a clipboard and you got to go through and fill out these 5 pages. Uh,
Yep.
then
Yeah.
then when you finally get called into the office, you get either an assistant or you get a PA.
Well, I would hope that you would know when you make your appointment if it's with a PA or with the actual doctor. And usually they will tell you
Well, the
when you
first
make.
the first person you see is what do you call it? The doctor's assistant or something, the one that checks your blood pressure and your temperature and asks you a whole bunch of
No.
questions since your last
Right.
visit and what's bothering you today. And they
Right.
they
That's
basically
not unusual.
ask you all the things that, as I remember, the doctor used to ask you.
Well, I think they want to see what's going on. And then I hear them as the doctor or the PA approach the door and they're whispering.
Yeah.
And I think the tech is filling them in on what the patient said so they can be prepared once they walk through that door.
In other words, they do the doctor's work and everything, and then give them the cliff notes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the doctor, it's like a comedian that's standing off stage, and then as soon as he walks out on the stage into the bright lights, he walks in and, well, Mr. Sachs, how are you doing? How is that arm doing now? Is it getting better?
That's right.
So,
That's true. That's true. That's what
if
happened
they're
the other
on
day.
stage, off stage,
Yeah.
and
But sometimes I surprise them and I don't tell the aide everything. And so when the doctor comes through, he goes over everything and they say, "Oh, and by the way, doctor." So it just depends how I'm feeling at that moment. If I want to tell the aide everything or if I want to just tell the doctor.
if you're going for a basic appointment to update whatever.
Like a return visit type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with seeing a PA instead of seeing the doctor?
Well, some people will say that their PAs are better than their doctors, which I've heard a lot about. Um, I have had PAs in the past, and they've been so-so. Uh, so when I see
Now, when you say so is because they're young and inexperienced,
no, they can
or
also be older, but my feeling is if I'm paying, I'm not even paying, the insurance is paying. But if the insurance is paying, or if I'm supposed to be seeing a doctor, if I can see a
for a
doctor,
doctor, I want to
I
see
want
it.
to see a doctor. Now, if it's something and I can't see the doctor for 2 or 3 months and something is really bothering me, yes,
But
then I go to the PA.
yeah,
Yeah.
And I don't, maybe it's me, but my most recent dealing was there's a heart doctor that
Yes.
I had a procedure done, and then I had to go see for the results. I had to go in and I met this very, very lovely foreign. She was a
She
PA
was Polish,
from
wasn't she?
Polish, I believe so.
Via Chicago, though.
Yeah. And I felt so comfortable with her.
Right.
She did not miss a point. She went over everything and she went over it in language that I could understand. And you can understand all this medical
No, she was
jargon.
very good.
I can't.
She was
But
good.
she kept saying, "Are there any questions? Do you
Mhm.
understand what I'm saying?" You know? And I felt so comfortable. And it was really because just what you said. I probably would have had to wait another few months to see this doctor because he's so busy. But at least he had a very, very qualified, knowledgeable,
She was.
caring
She absolutely
PA.
was. She absolutely
And
was.
I would probably, if I just had to go in because of another checkup or whatever, I might even say, is, the PA available
Most of the
if the
specialists or
doctor's,
surgeons that are out there,
yeah.
I don't want to say they can't be bothered, but they are so overbooked and so busy that they come and go pretty quickly in the room, in and out of the room. The PAs with these surgeons or these specialists, a lot of them have been doing this for quite a few years. And so I think they're knowledgeable. They've studied under the specialist, the doctor. It's when you just go to a PA at the dermatologist appointment or your regular MD that I kind of, but if it's this is a specialist, the PAs usually know what's going on and can
Well,
help you out.
am I wrong? But very often PAs are people that just do not have the time, maybe the funds, whatever, to
They don't want,
go to medical school to go through the whole process of medical school and internship to become doctors. But they are very, very knowledgeable, and sometimes they know as much about the new treatments than the
well, and
doctors.
sometimes PAs can write scripts, prescriptions.
Oh, they can. Okay.
Yeah, I think it depends on the prescriptions. I would have looked this up, but we didn't know we were going to be talking about this. This kind of just
Yeah.
came out. I would have looked this up, but I don't go to a lot of PAs, so that's why I don't really care as much. But yeah, I had one PA, and I thought she wrote me a prescription. I could be wrong.
Well, it could be a prescription that you already have and all, and so have the ability
Yeah, it
to
could have been,
renew the
or it could have
prescription
been a
that the doc.
prescription that really wasn't that big of a deal.
Yeah, yeah.
I just, it depends. I guess it depends on the specialty. It depends your issue as
Do you,
if you see a PA or not.
and do you find that most of the smaller single doctor operations do not have PAs, or do they, or is it just the larger practices where there's two or three doctors in the
No,
practice?
it's both.
Both.
It's both. It just depends on the doctor and the practice.
Now, for instance, our ophthalmologist, who
Mm.
I love dearly because she gave me my bionic eyes. When we go into her office, we probably see her for a total of 15, 20 minutes. But the young lady that we usually work with that does the field of vision, that does the refraction, that does
Those aren't PAs.
no, I know those are this,
Okay.
but they do everything. They know their stuff and they make you feel comfortable. And you're in and out of different rooms with different machines to check
It,
all of this stuff.
yeah,
And then they take all of that data,
and they give it to her.
they input it, and then when the doctor comes in, first thing she does is goes over to her laptop there and looks at everything. And the first thing she says to you is, "Everything looks pretty good, Mr. Sachs. How you feeling? Any issues?"
Well, at least she said that.
Yeah,
At least
I
that looks good.
always think these doctors that have gone through, 4 years of pre-med and then, so many years of medical school and then internships and all that kind of stuff. And they first thing they do is they walk in, they say to you, how you feeling? And I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. I came to you to
Tell me
find
how
out
I'm
how
feeling.
I'm feeling.
Tell me
You
how
know,
I'm feeling. But yeah, I mean, I will say most of her PAs are, not PAs, techs
yeah.
are good. I had one last year that,
She trains them that way,
yeah, but I had one last year that I was not happy with.
right?
So you gotta, it really depends.
Yeah.
And this was one that had been with her for a while. Maybe it was a bad day for her.
Yeah. But a lot of time it's up to the doctor because it's the doctors that have to oversee what those PAs and techs and all are going to do for the patient prior to them walking in to
Yeah,
the room.
yeah. I just think if you're supposed to be going to a specialist and you've had an ongoing issue and uh, you should be seeing the doc if you can instead of the
Yeah.
PA. But again, sometimes you can't. You can't get in to see the doctors. They take forever.
Yeah, it always gets me whenever the doctor says, so what's up? Is everything okay? And I'm thinking, why am I sitting in your office if everything's except it could be just an
Right,
annual checkup,
right, right,
you know.
right.
But I expect you to say, how's your A1C? How is your blood sugar levels? How's this? How's that? Based on your history, it's usually just a generic, so how you doing today?
My appointment last week was just just for my blood pressure because it's a big deal. It's no big deal. Everybody knows I have high blood pressure. Um, we didn't really talk about my blood pressure at all.
Did
We talked about an airplane accident and when he was flying because he used to fly and he loves flying, but he really thinks he's going to start taking more car trips like you, he agreed with, because he really was getting tired of the airplanes. And finally, he took my blood pressure right before I left. Oh, it looks fabulous, wonderful, nice seeing you. Goodbye.
see you 6 months. Yeah. Well, it's just
But
like
I said, why?
our cardiologist is kind of like a distant cousin. And so the first thing we talk about is the family. And have you heard from this one lately and that
Yeah,
one
but at least
and
he
their family and they're going away on a trip or my daughter just got engaged.
now he doesn't have a PA. He does not have a PA,
Right.
and
His
I'm thankful for that.
assistant
They
we
are good.
have been with
Yeah,
for years.
yeah. But yeah, but he's up on everything, and I feel comfortable, very comfortable with him, and not because he's almost a relative. I think I would have picked him out anyway. But I just the doctor situation is getting very difficult because I do have friends that have pre-existing conditions and or have been alerted by their doctor to go to a specialist and they can't get into a doctor for 4 to 6 months. And
Yeah.
that's tough.
Yeah.
That's tough. So I don't know what the answer is.
Just
Grin and bear it. I don't know.
well, and is it also like just trial and error? You go to a doctor. Well, number one, you research your doctors
I do.
before you make an appointment.
Yeah, I do.
You look at their credentials, where they studied, the reviews. People say, he's a great doctor, but he's got a terrible bedside manner. Hey,
Well, I can
I
live
could
with that.
accept that
Yeah, right.
if they say, he didn't really diagnose what was wrong with me, but is he's such a nice
Yeah,
guy.
well, that doesn't work.
That you don't
No.
need, but you research it and then you go to the doctor, and if you're comfortable, fine. If
Well,
not, you have gone for a second opinion
yeah, not a lot. I'm not a doctor
over the
shopper.
years.
Not a doctor shop. But when I'm going to somebody, I like to know where they've gone to school and because if they're going to diagnose something or they're going to give me a prescription for something, I'd like to know how long they've been studying, where they've been studying,
Yeah,
get a little background on them.
my my urologist just retired, and
Yeah.
he had another doctor in the practice, and
Yeah.
I really did like my urologist a lot, and when I went to my last appointment, his partner who took over the practice walks in the door, and I thought it was Doogie Howser. I mean, this guy looked like he might just graduated high school.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about this one.
Yeah, but no, he has good credentials too.
Does he?
Yeah,
I looked him
yeah.
up, but I don't remember.
But some of the younger
It was so
doctors, for
long.
us older people, the younger doctors, you know, he's Are you sure you're a doctor? Are you?
Well, it's true. They look younger, and yeah, I mean, there have been ones that I've seen that look like I'm talking to my son. Well, you're right. I know, but that's okay because if they have the background,
That's right.
that's okay.
That's right.
That's all right.
But
Oh well.
well, anyway, whether you go to a doctor or a PA and all, I think Lauren's tip about, vetting them out first, checking them out, use the internet, find out how long have they been in practice, and where have they practiced before? Where did they go to school and do their
Where
internships?
did they go to school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And any awards that they have received or acknowledgments from the American Medical Association or whatever, all of those things kind of help you make up your mind because the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have to be going to a different doctor in a field every year or two. You really want to get with one doctor that'll follow your
If
progress
you can.
if you
That's
can.
hard. That's hard to find.
And the older ones are retiring now. So you're with them for a few years and all of a sudden they do retire. They have a tendency to do that.
Yeah, it's getting difficult because of all the paperwork and things that they have to do now.
Yeah.
They've just had it, and that's a whole nother show.
So, okay. Well, we'll do another show on that
Okay.
sometime. Okay. So go out and call your doctor and make an appointment. Okay. Be good to yourself and come back next week. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.